I have a wild theory and I need your thoughts on it. So you know how people are always saying that there is no blueprint, no plan, no manual for life itself. I personally believe that there is, and this manual is very simple, and it really comes down to how you live your life on a day-to-day basis. And what I see is that most people that say these kinds of things, that they don't have the manual of life, what I find is that those people are just living for the instant and temporary pleasures. They're completely avoiding the long-term satisfaction of what life really is about. So this manual of life, this life manual, this life blueprint, whatever you want to call it, I strongly believe that this isn't an actual physical document, but it is a collection of secrets, if you will, that have been left over from previous successful people. And when I say success, I'm not referring to monetary value. I mean successful life. They have money, they're happy, they have a nice family, they love what they do, they absolutely thrive, and they completely enjoy their life. So that's what success means to me, is that you 100% enjoy your life, and not enjoy as in you're only enjoying the temporary pleasures of life. So you can quote unquote enjoy life by just doing things that make you feel good in the present moment. But the real joy comes from doing things that are going to set you up for success long term, and not only you, but also your family and generations that come after you. So these people have left us clues on what it takes to actually live a successful life. And this is what the blueprint or the manual of life actually consists of. And this manual really consists of a few different things. And I'm going to say these terms and you might look away and you might click off this video right away. But I urge you to stay throughout, just because even for me, when I hear some of these terms, I kind of give them a side eye, because the way that society portrays these things, they seem as if they're woo-woo or this spiritual thing that just doesn't work in this reality. But what I want to say is things such as the law of attraction. When I first heard of the law of attraction, that to me, it was like, oh shit, I can just sit at home, do nothing, and think about this thing and it'll come to me. But realistically, that's not what the law of attraction is. The law of attraction simply states that your actions match with what you want to accomplish, and your thoughts match with what you want to accomplish. So your thoughts, feelings, and emotions and your actions all match the goal that you want to achieve, right? So the first thing is the law of attraction. So that's one part of the manual of life, the blueprint of life, if you will. And then another thing is removing trauma that we've been dealing with. So from my experience, what holds a lot of people back is they've been through some sort of thing that caused trauma, whether it's very traumatic or it's a very subtle trauma that gets stuck in the body. So if we feel these negative emotions, those emotions, if we're not able to let them go, they get stuck in the body, and that's what causes the physical ailments. So it starts off energetically and then moves into physical ailments. So if we can sit down and have that trauma and really deal with the trauma by bringing it up and allowing it to come up, and we really feel it, we can learn to let it go, and it'll no longer affect us in the future. Things might still arise, but it'll be a lot easier for us to deal with them just because we already know that they're going to come up. So the first thing is the law of attraction. The second thing is getting rid of trauma that we may have incurred, especially during our childhood, but also as we grow into adults, we can have traumatic experiences, and those traumatic experiences tend to shape our life. And then outside of those two things, I would call these things hacks, even though they're things we should all be doing. But the reason I call them hacks is because if you do them, they're essentially allowing you to hack your life in a way that will improve your life. So even though I'm calling them hacks, they're not necessarily hacks. They're things that we tend to do naturally for the most part, but we can optimize on those things. So things like sleep, I consider sleep a hack, even though every single one of us sleeps at night, but there are levels to it. So a certain person may sleep 8 hours and feel fully rested, while another person will sleep 8 hours and feel like they haven't gotten enough sleep. And chances are, most of the time, it's not about the amount of hours that you sleep, it's about how deep of a sleep you get. So you can set yourself up for success in terms of sleep by doing things the night before. So having a wind down period, meaning no phones, no screens or whatever for the last hour of your night before you go to sleep. Those things will help you sleep better. Things such as not drinking coffee 8 hours hours before your bedtime also help you have a better sleep. Things like not eating 2 hours before your bedtime also help with the sleep. Getting sunlight during the day, exercising during the day, all of these things contribute to a better sleep, which is essentially a hack if you're not used to getting good sleep. And a few other things to go along with sleep is nutrition. So making sure you're feeding your body the right foods. You're not feeding your body processed foods, which are essentially going to mess up your sleep. But not only that, they're going to mess up your life and create more ailments in the future for you. So get good sleep. Make sure your nutrition is on point. I don't like to subscribe to any of these diets or these fads or anything like that. Just eat food, actual food, not chemicals. Eat food. Whole foods diet is optimal for us humans. If you are constantly eating food that has additives and all these chemicals and stuff like that, then your body is not going to function properly. So that's another hack. Even though we all eat, the hack comes from eating the right things, not necessarily just eating. So you want to make sure you're getting the right fuel into your body by feeding it the right nutrients. And the right nutrients come from whole foods and not from processed foods. And on top of that, what you want to do is make sure that you are working out. You're doing some sort of exercise that gets your blood flowing. You want to get your heart rate up. This will allow you to, again, sleep better, but also live a more healthier life. And then one other thing I want to mention is that breathing. So of course, again, we all breathe, but are you breathing properly? A lot of people have shallow breathing, and a lot of people breathe in through the mouth and out through the mouth. A lot of people breathe only into their chest, but the proper way to breathe, if you look at babies, the only way they breathe is you see their stomach coming up, and a lot of adults that I see, their stomach doesn't come up at all. That's because they're having the shallow breathing into the chest. What you want to do is you want to expand that into the lower lungs, expand the chest, expand the lungs, and then exhale. And you want to do this through the nose, in through the nose, out through the mouth, or out through the nose. So you want to make sure you're breathing properly throughout the day. Again, that's also going to help with your sleep. It's going to help with your life overall. And the very last thing is finances. I know a lot of people stress about finances, and that's where majority of stress comes from. And stress is a huge cause of a lot of diseases. To minimize stress, you want to make sure you get your finances in order. And there isn't one specific way where you can make sure that your finances are in order. Essentially, it comes down to making more money than you spend. And I know that's easier said than done, but if you want to live a healthier life and follow this life manual, then it's imperative that you make sure you don't spend more than you make. And that's how a lot of people get into trouble with credit cards and stuff like that, is by spending more than they make. And then they'll never get caught up and continue paying on these credit cards for the rest of their lives. So to recap, the blueprint of life is law of attraction, getting rid of trauma, making sure you have good sleep, making sure that your nutrition is on point, you're eating whole foods, making sure that you're getting some sort of exercise throughout the day. I personally enjoy lifting weights, but if that's not your thing, cool, it doesn't matter. You can go for a run. If that's not your thing, you can go biking. If that's not your thing, you can swim. There's got to be something that you enjoy that gets your heart rate going. Make sure you do more of that. And then the last two things are breath work, making sure that you're breathing properly, and also finances, making sure that your finances are in order. So I personally believe that this is the blueprint or the manual to life. This is how we can all live a successful life. Again, not in monetary terms, which is part of it, but that's not what true success is. I've seen a lot of people who have a lot of money, but I don't consider them successful. It's this overall balance of life of mind, body, soul, and finances. So if you can get all those in order, and you can by doing what I just mentioned, you will live a successful life. Now, I know this may sound too easy or too good to be true, but I personally have done all of these things in my life, and my life has improved drastically. I've met people who also have these habits in their life, and their lives are what I consider to be successful. So if you consider success in only monetary value, then that's on you. You can figure out the rest of it. But for me, success is mind, body, soul, finances. And in order to improve on mind, body, soul, finances, make sure you understand the law of attraction. You understand what healing trauma can actually do for you, what good sleep can do for you, what good nutrition can do for you, what exercising can do for you, what proper breathing can do for you, and finally, what good finances can do for you.